We are back with ranking more of the platforms in Hollow Knight. Today we are going to be doing Fog Canyon. I probably should have done this one a little bit sooner, but I didn't. So that's a little bit on me. Anyways, our choice of music for today is in the bottom left corner. Hopefully it's not too loud. That's quite loud. There we go. That seems a little bit better. But anyways, this is going to be Fog Canyon, and as just a reminder, I'm looking through the lens of both a speedrunner, a kind of like a challenge runner as well, but also I want to view these platforms in the eyes of someone who's maybe playing this for the first time. So everything might be a little bit, let's see, a little bit skewed. Just because you think, oh, this was a good platform, you might think it might be ranked higher, when as someone who speedruns this game, I might think it's a little bit less than that, or vice versa. So take it with a grain of salt. And as usual, I'm going to be ranking this out of 10, and it has to be an individualized floating platform. So something that's connected to the wall or another walkable surface does not count. And we're going to be ranking all of the platforms in Fog Canyon today. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and zoom out as well, just to kind of show you guys just exactly how big this thing is. If you see a little bit closely, this is where the outline is. This is how big Fog Canyon is. However, this is actually not as big as the other areas, so this is actually going to be one of the shorter ones. Thankfully, my voice is going to be well preserved, or at least somewhat preserved compared to the other ones. Also because we're going to do a little bit more after this, so hopefully it'll be not terrible. Anyways, we are going to start where everything, usually kind of starts for this one. We're going to start up here. And the reason why we're starting all the way up here is because this is not only one of the main entrances, this is the speedrun entrance. A lot of people will end up kind of entering Fog Canyon from this direction anyways, so this is where we're going to start. But, obviously as we start, there's already a lot of platforms in this one little segment alone. So let's go ahead and start ranking them. This first platform, the moment you step in, I actually am going to give this one a 7.5. Actually, this is not bright enough. Let's choose a... Oops. Nope, I think it's a... There we go. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna make this a little bit brighter. There we go. I want to give this one a 7.5. Mainly because this is the first platform, and immediately upon entering, you will see danger, danger, danger. And you're like, by golly, I'm glad that I am on this platform and not falling into danger. This one gets a 7.5. A lot of these ones are probably going to get a little bit higher because this place is so dangerous. So that's a 7.5. I think this one's going to be like a... Most of them are probably going to be 6 or 7-ish. This one probably gets a 6 because there's a bunch of like danger little sparks right here. So it might be a little bit difficult. These ones, I actually kind of don't like this one specifically. Just because it's kind of odd in its placement. It's very, very close to the wall. Which makes it a little bit odd to kind of like maneuver around. Especially with this little guy right underneath it, and you can get hit very easily. But that's just my opinion. Which is why I want to give this one a 6, because I still think it's a good platform for you to get your bearings on. Likewise, this one probably gets a 6.5. It's the only one that's kind of there. So it's kind of like a necessary platform. Same thing with this one, maybe a 6.5. This one, it's a little bit oddly placed. So I'll probably give it a 6. Because, like, you can probably just go elsewhere in general. But this one is okay because it's kind of protecting you from these charged Lumaflies. But before we move on, there's another series of platforms right here, and these platforms are actually really, really hard. This one specifically, this first platform, I'll actually outline these ones because they're a little bit more difficult to see. I guess the resolution is not the best, so it's a little bit hard. But I'm gonna outline these platforms just so you're able to see them more clearly. Our first platform, I want to give this one, let's say, an 8. Because this little part right here, before entering in, it's actually hidden. So it's blocked off for a little bit, but the moment you go in, you actually get revealed this entire small subsection. And then this is our first platform. Now, because these guys do explode, this is why I like this one very much, because it teaches you, like, hey, don't hit this guy. You are safe here, you have to wait. It's a learning platform. Unlike this one gets a 5, because this little jellyfish, right? Technically, his hitbox is this big. And he kind of moves back and forth, up and down. He kind of floats around. But because of that, he might just accidentally hit you while you are standing right here. So it's like, oh, dude, this sucks. So I want to give this one a 5 because you naturally might get hit by that one while trying to plan out your next point of attack to continue going down. And, you know, in Hollow Knight, the first rule is always to jump at everything, and the second rule is always to hit everything. And especially if you get hit by something, your natural response is to hit it back. And that's going to cause a lot of, you know, destruction, because this guy will explode at you, dealing 2 masks. You get knocked into the thorns, which deal an extra mask, and depending on how far you're in the game, that might be half your health, or over half your health. So, yeah, it's a little dangerous. This one is arguably a lot better, but not arguably a lot better either. Just because it's below it, and a little bit safer, because this guy's to the side of us instead of right on top of us, it's still difficult because the next part is to go down here, onto this platform. And that's where the difficulty kind of arises. What I found to be helpful is just kind of like jumping up a little bit, and then just drifting back. However, yeah, this guy still can get in the way, so you might have to take your time. But this platform right here, this platform is a very good platform. I'm actually going to give this one a 9. And the reason is because that little item right there is I believe... Wait, no, I'm getting this mixed up with a different one. This one is an 8. This one's an 8. I thought this was a charm notch platform. And I was like, oh, that's so good. But it's not, unfortunately. So this one is an 8 because it gives you a lot of money. I forgot what item is actually on this. Let's take a quick look. Items. Where is it? Here it is. If you were to go there, this is a Hollowness seal, which I believe is worth 450 Geo when you sell it to Relic Seeker Lem. So this is already a decent like item, but it's not the best. You go there and you realize, oh, I came here just for an item, or you realize how much it's worth and think, wow, a free 400 Geo. That's like beating a boss. So that's what I want to give this one. But continuing on, we're going to continue our descent all the way down, and then we're going to continue to the left. But this next platform here, it's just kind of a whatever platform. I'll give it a 5 because there are the charged Lumaflies there, which makes it a little bit more difficult. Most of these ones at this point, I'll probably just quickly rate all of them. Just in terms of ease, location, and, you know, just overall relative location-wise to hazards or, you know, minor inconveniences. Again, if a platform is just there simply for the sake that, you know, it's there to get to the next platform, it's probably going to get a little bit of a lower rating. But I think, in my opinion, these are the ratings. And that's just kind of like this mini area. There's a lot more to the left, and we will start moving on to the left, but I want to go through this area first. Not necessarily because, you know, technically there are no floating platforms that are independent of each other, because if you look at it, something like this. This little weird shape right here. Technically there's 2 walkable surfaces, so I just want to point out this one and this one. Because they're attached to the same thing, this is not its own individualized platform, and I cannot rank it by itself. And then there's this thing. Technically, visually, yes, it already just out of question because it's connected to the floor and the walls. But I do want to kind of give this a proper rating because this is where you get a charm notch. So I'm gonna say that this one gets a C out of 10 for charm notch out of 10. This is very nice. This is a difficult area because just look at all these explosions. Look at all of them. There's so many explosions. But it's worth it because you get a charm notch, and that's very, very helpful. Just kind of continuing on, We'll eventually meet back up in the same room, like over here-ish. But we'll go based on height. So we'll start in this area, and then we'll do the bottom area. Actually, hold on. I don't think there's even... Oh, there's a couple. There's a couple. We'll do those ones first then. There is one platform here. This is the most average platform. And because it is the most average platform, don't forget, in the ranking, 0 always has to be the worst, or 1, and 10 always has to be the best. Therefore, the most average should be 5. This is the most average platform. I don't think there's one on this side for some reason. And then in this room, where's Teacher Archive, where one of the bosses and one of the dreamers is held, there are these ones. They are literally just there for you to, go like this and leave. That's the only purpose of them being there. And so because, they're not even that cool of platforms, I'm going to give them both a 4. I think they're not really worthy of anything higher, even if you might argue that. But yeah, that's just my take. But in the little rooms above, there's a little bit more. You'll notice, I guess technically you probably should have noticed already, but there is acid in this area. And if you don't have Ismust here, this place becomes a lot harder. But if you do have Ismust here, it becomes very easy to avoid these explosions, and you can just kind of, swim along and continue. Something I do want to point out, and this is something that not a lot of people actually figured out. I figured this out by accident. These exploding jellyfish, if you pogo them, right, you nail swing downwards on them, they will fall directly into the acid and fizzle out. They will not explode, they will not chase after you, it is safe. I did not realize that until after a very long time, and I was like, oh, well then this place is no longer that scary. Granted, they have to actually land in the water, right? Say there was one like right here, right? If you pogo on this one and it lands into the platform, well then you're still not safe, so let's be careful. But these platforms are not bad. Honestly, for a casual player, these are very, very helpful platforms. And so for that reason, I'm going to give both of them a 7.5. I feel like this is the bare minimum. Anything below this, I feel like is not really fair, especially to like the average Hollow Knight player. But for like good Hollow Knight players who are masters of like moving around, jumping around, they might say, oh, this is like a 5 platform. But you have to consider, this is in both light of speedrunner and a casual perspective. So please, be a little bit more open-minded. Moving on, there's no more platforms here until this big room. I believe this is a room with Cornifer. Yep, there he is. Our good old bud. But to get there, oh boy, there's a lot. There's a lot of platforms in this area. And again, if you don't have Ismust here, and especially if you don't have the Shade Cloak, which most people probably don't at this point, this place can be a little bit difficult. So, to get here, right? Obviously, some of these are kind of whatever. I would say this is like your average platform. Use simple hop back. But at this point, if you're approaching it from this side, you probably should have double jump at the very least, because that's the only way you can get up here. Otherwise, you will not be able to reach him, I think, at all. Or at least not without some weird hope that you pogo off him and then dash. I'm not entirely sure. It's been a while since I've even been in this room in the first place. But because of that, I think this platform specifically will get a 7 because it leads you to Cornifer. I think this one will get a 4.5 because there's immediately 2 dangers that you want to overcome and pass through to continue on forward, or I guess continue backwards, depending on which way you're entering this room from. This one probably gets a 5. This one probably gets a 5.5. Mainly because it's a bit longer than the other ones, but you're also more free from danger. On the other side, yeah, this one probably gets a 5.5. This one probably gets a 5. This one probably gets a 5. And probably that's a 5. All of these ones are relatively just average platforms. They're there for you to kind of maneuver around / utilize to your liking. So, nothing intense, but nothing super awesome either. Now then, we're going to go through this part next. This is another entrance that a lot of people will enter from. I believe this is the entrance from... Actually, I don't even remember. Where is it from? I don't remember. This is the entrance from Green Path. This is technically, quote-unquote, the normal entrance. Most people will probably enter the Green Path through this way, even though I started with the speedrun entrance first, because a lot of people will also enter that way as well. But in this case, unfortunately, we cannot rank this first platform because there are 2 different surfaces right here. So I cannot rank this one, even though it does look nice. This one, I actually don't like very much. Its whole purpose is specifically so you can go up there, but at this point you should probably have Mantis Claw unless you're exploring this area for the very first time. And because of that, it's like, I don't like it very much. I want to give this one a 3, because also, it kind of blocks you off. If you land on this platform, you still can't see exactly what is like potentially there. And so it's just kind of like an intermediate step. It's not that great. Unlike if you were to just drop off on the other side, you immediately see, oh, there's new stuff here. So, not that great in my opinion. Our next couple of platforms in this area are also very, let's say, difficultly placed because this is such an odd area. It's hard to maneuver properly, I suppose. If you don't have double jump or Mantis Claw, then trying to get out of this area is very, very annoying. And so because of that, I'm going to try to rank these platforms in light of that as well. So this one is actually pretty decent. I think that's a 6. This one will probably get a 5. This one will probably get a 5. Oh, dude, this one is like mandatory. This one gets a 6.5. It's literally only allowing you to progress, but also keeps you safe from potential acid danger. It's like this one. So I'm going to give this one a 5.5 as well. Now, technically, because these aren't necessarily floating platforms, they're submerged in acid, I'm not going to rank these ones either, even though they are very, very helpful. So just take that with a small grain of salt. Gotta stay hydrated. Okay. We'll continue downwards. We'll continue down and then to the left eventually. But mainly because, you know, as we go down, there's only so much more area we can go to. When there's a lot more to the left. So we're going to go ahead and rank these ones next. This area, honestly, is not that bad. I actually kind of like this area. Probably because I've been to this area so many times, I've kind of memorized a weird route for it. This is also kind of like a blocked off path from our teacher's archives. There's that. But in this case, we have a lot of big platforms too. This one is just your average platform before this platform. This platform is okay, I think, at best. I think I'm going to give this one a 5.5. But there, you'll notice that we have some of these larger sized platforms, which sole purpose is basically to just keep us from falling straight down and having a slightly altered version of this room. So it's kind of okay, kind of not. They're just kind of average platforms in general. Personally, I don't really like this platform. Probably because it's in relationship to this part of the wall right here. It makes it feel very cramped. I don't like that. So even in a speedrunner sense, it doesn't bother me very much. But when I was like as a casual, I felt like I can't see enough of my surroundings. So I'm gonna give this one a 4. If I'm not mistaken, there are 2 platforms, one right here, one right here. They're okay, they're good. 5 and a 5, I guess. Just average platforms, there's nothing inherently bad about them, but there's nothing really, you know, like striving. These are good platforms going for them. So I think they're just kind of okay. These 2 platforms, honestly, in my opinion, kind of annoying. This one I'm going to give a 5. This one I'm going to give a 4.5. And the only reason why I'm giving it kind of a lower rating is because its sole purpose is simply to get the Queen's Garden. That's literally it. Otherwise, you could have put one like right here, which probably would have made visually a bit more sense. But, it's okay. And we have another larger sized platform right here. It does only have one walkable surface, so I can rate that one. This one is not bad. It actually does provide a good, I guess, underneath platform compared to these 2. So I think this one will get a 6.5. Pretty decent, not terrible. Okay. Likewise, this one is just a good platform. It's a 5. Average platform. This one also probably an average platform. Most of these ones are probably going to be average platforms. Most of the danger and the weirdness is actually up here. So a lot of these ones they're good. They're okay. Oh, shoot. No. This is a platform. Yeah. That's a platform. That's a 5. This is a 5. Actually, no. I'm going to give this one a 4.5 because of this guy. He's basically occupying the entire space. He's just kind of there. And because he's occupying that space, very annoying, even for speedrunners. Sometimes you might just accidentally touch him and you get hit, and it gets annoying. But for the most part, it's not bad. Same thing with this one. An average platform. Over to the left is Millabelle. No one likes Millabelle. She steals your money. But then again, you can get it back with interest. So, maybe not. So let's just triangle. And then from here is Queen's Station. Not to be confused with Queen's Garden. I got that confused so often, I don't know why. Queen's Garden is not where Queen's Station is. Queen's Garden Stag is not the same as Queen's Stag. And when I'm writing notes for my speedruns, I have to remember that every time. In this area, obviously there's a stag, there's a willow. Adorable little thing. But there's a lot of platforms here too. And honestly, I don't like these platforms. I kind of don't. A lot of people might say like, oh, this is kind of like it's a runic. It's very, like ancient city vibes. And I'm like, I don't like it. I really don't like it. So I might be rating this a little bit less than you might like. But recently I have been doing a no-move challenge in Hollow Knight. This place is so annoying to get out of. Like, I didn't realize how difficult it was. So I'll be a little bit forgiving because obviously, most people are playing this game with the ability to move left or right. So I'm also going to reflect that as well. These larger platforms are very, very nice. This one, I'll probably give a 6.5 because this is supposed to help you get to here. Obviously, without moving left or right, it's hard, but yeah. This platform probably will get a 7, mainly because for some reason a lot of people will miss this jump. I'm not really sure why I missed it so many times in my first playthrough, and they'll just land on this backup platform. It's also right in the middle, so it's pretty good. This platform, probably just like a 6.5-ish, whatever. These platforms are also, a lot of these platforms are just kind of whatever. They just get you to the next upper area, or honestly, they get in the way if you're trying to go down. Same thing with this one. This is just a 5. It helps you get from one place to another. That's really all that these are. I wish they could be better. I definitely don't wish they could be worse, because they very much easily could be worse. But they're just kind of there. It's the most average place. I feel like Fog Canyon is the most average place in terms of platforms. It's just platforms. Nothing I can do about that. But that's basically all of the right half of Fog Canyon. Believe it or not, we're actually almost done with this place. This is a very small place compared to all the others. If you look at it, we've already done like the entirety of the right half. But this is not all of Fog Canyon. There's actually a lot of rooms or a lot of other sub-areas of Fog Canyon that I have to also rank. And that's where things are going to get a little bit complicated. But continuing on, this is the Queen's Gardens acid location with the acid skip all the way over here. I got it once on the first try, my Pantheon 5 boss order, and I never got it again. I don't know why. It's very hard, but I can't rate anything in there because there's no platforms. So I'm left with continuing on in this area. And this is the end of this area, basically. That's it. But, let's just start. This area is actually kind of difficult because if you look closely, there are charged Lumaflies here, 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 here. There's one here. There's one here. And there's one here. There's a lot. And so it can get a little bit annoying because, you know, it's like, shoot, where is everything? I don't know how to do things. So I'm going to be taking in light of that. I will also be taking into consideration if you don't have isthmus here. That is what the harder part is. Because if you don't have isthmus here, everything below you is danger. And if everything below you is in danger, these platforms become more and more of a lifeline. This first one, I'm going to give a 7.5 because it has to teach you. Because most likely you're coming from this direction. It has to teach you, hey, there's a charged Lumafly right here. If you get hit, there's a decent chance you're going to fall into the acid and lose another mask. Or you can learn to get good, literally get good at platforming and start, you know, being more precise and getting better at this game. It's not easy, but it's, you know, what we have to do. So because of that, this is a 7.5. This one, because there's a charged Lumafly right on top of it, if you stand here, you will get hit. There's no way around it. If you just stand there and wait. So that's why I want to give this one a 6. And I think that's like the perfect amount. Because, you know, obviously, you can't just sit there, you have to move. But it's also required to see, oh, I go from here to there, and so on and so forth. This one is submerged. Technically, I can't rank this one, because it's also not floating. So we'll move on to this one. This one is a... oh, I'm not gonna lie, I don't like this one. I'm gonna give it a 5. Actually, no, not a 5. I'm gonna give this one a 4. And the reason mainly is because, similar to this one, you can get hit by the charged Lumaflies. However, this one is difficult because you have to jump here, and then jump here as quickly as possible. With this one, you can kind of sit here, and obviously it's like, oh, just dash, just move to the left. But because you have to traverse the entirety span of that charged Lumafly area, it takes time. And more often than not, you'll get hit like right here. And there's a chance you might not be able to make it onto this platform. So because of that, this one gets a 4 because of its difficulty. But once you are up here, oh, you've made it. You are safe, things are good. So this one, I'm going to give this one a 5.5. It is kind of a whatever platform, especially once you get good at platforming. But for, you know, average players, this is your lifeline. This is good. Continuing on to this one. This one is... this is a pure average one. Its sole purpose is so that you can go from one to the other. Doesn't matter the direction. That's literally the whole point of it. But it's okay. There is an area to the left and above it, but... again, 2 separate walkable surfaces. I wish I could rank that one. However, can't do it. If I were to give it a ranking though, I'd probably give it like a 6.5 out of 10 unofficially. But you know, it's I can't do that, so just so you are aware. This little group of platforms, this is also a little bit annoying because there is a charged Lumafly here. You have to jump dash onto this one. And if you get hit, sometimes, especially for average players, it might be a little bit difficult to regain your footing, and you might just end up falling in acid. So this one probably gets like a 5.5, mainly for its difficulty, but it's not an unfair one. It's fairly simple. All you just have to do is time it. So it's not necessarily easy, but it's not necessarily like stupid hard either. This one also probably 4.5, I suppose. That was a terrible 4. 4.5. There is a charged Lumafly, but at this point you should probably be aware and more on guard. And therefore, you know, not bad. These ones, they're average. This one, oh, despite all this room, despite this room being filled with just annoyance, this one, this is a 7. This is like your only safe platform in this entire area. It's so nice. It's good. Pad, hello. I hope you're doing well. But yeah, this one is like, it's your safe platform, because it not only is it larger than all the other ones, you have more walk space, but there's no danger. The only imminent danger is this charged Lumafly and that charged Lumafly, but both of them you can see very easily and you can time. So this is probably the best platform in this subsection or this area. even though it's only a 7. But that's good. This is a good one. And then the last overworld area of this Fog Canyon area, we have these guys. Should have been an 8. You call rigged. Okay, you know what? Comparatively to this entire area, I will settle for a 7.5. I think, to be fair, I think that's a fair one. To be completely fair. Now, do I want to call it an 8? I don't think so. I think an 8 is, because other 8 platforms, they're a lot better than this one, I think. But comparatively, relative to the room it's in, yeah, I could very much argue for a 7.5. But, these are our last overworld platforms. And to be fair, I kind of find it funny. I find them very funny. They're just there. And I kid you not, now that I'm looking at it, like, zoomed out, this group of platforms remind me of Lost, the meme. But to be completely honest, they don't really serve any purpose. You could have spread them out more. You could have had only 2 platforms. You probably could have had 3 platforms spread out. There's really no reason for all 4 of these to be grouped so close together. But, you know, they're not terrible. They're just confusing to me, I guess. And also, these platforms are simply so that you can go from here, or like from here. It's just kind of there. I think all of these platforms probably get like a 4.5 at best. In my opinion. I think I'm giving this top left one a 4 because there's really no point in it being there. Yeah. It still fits with the others, even if it's not necessarily at all required. But do I give it a 3? I think I have to give it a 3. It's not... is it even worth a 3? Because realistically speaking, no one's standing on this platform. Everyone's going to use this one. Or at least I don't know people who actually use this platform because this one is just objectively better. It's taller. It helps you get to the next platforms easier. Yeah, this one's probably a 2. I hate to do it. I really hate to have a 2, like a 2 out of 10 platform. But I just can't bring myself to bring it any higher. Now that I'm looking at it in that respect, this is probably a 4. This one's probably a 4 as well. Because again, their only purpose is that you can go up. That's it. And there's no danger in this room either. I hate to do it. But I can't give it any higher than that. I'm sorry. But, on the bright side, technically that's all of Fog Canyon. Well, asterisk. That's all of the overworld areas in Fog Canyon. We've already done everything here. But there are actually quite a bit of subsections in this area. So here's what we'll do. I'm going to go ahead and open a new one. Oh, no, not that. New file. Actually, I can just do... Yeah, we'll do this. And here's what's going to happen. I'm going to import the rest of Fog Canyon. There's actually 4 different screenshots I took. We'll start with the overgrown mound. It's a little bit small, but I did it this way because you can see all the platforms in this area. Now, to kind of explain, the overgrown mound is this little bit right here. This is where Howling Cliffs is, or not Howling Cliffs. This is where Howling Wraiths is located. One of the spells and arguably one of the better abilities in the entire game. Now, in this area, we have, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 platforms. However, not all of them are created equal. And it's pretty obvious as to why. The entrance is here, and technically the exit is here. And because you go over here, you get the ability, and then you leave this way. So, yeah. But, just from looking at it, it's not very, very difficult to tell. This platform right here is not that great. It's very, very confined. Oops. This entire room is an arena. You'll be attacked by multiple squits. The ones that kind of like pew at you. I don't know how else to explain it. The ones that like launch themselves at you. Let me put it that way. But immediately this platform is not that great. It's very limiting. If you get knocked off, unless you have like decent reaction time, most likely you're gonna fall into the spikes. This one is not a good platform because most of the time people will just skip that one and go here anyways. So again, this is not a good platform. This one probably gets like a... I think a 2 is fitting. I was gonna say a 1.5, but I think that's too low. So I think 2 or a 2.5, debatable, is worth it. And then there's this platform, the arguably significantly better one. This one, however, is not the best one in my opinion. It's just kind of a good platform to get you used to this area. This platform, actually, I don't know why it's there. Arguably, this platform is more useless than this one because at least this one you have a chance to land on it. No one's going here. Like, okay, this one, I might be able to see someone might want to go to that platform. But there's not really good reason to, because just by the layout of the room, the squids spawn like here-ish. They don't actually spawn in a place that's like, oh, you want to utilize the entirety of the room, like no eyes. No, it's just kind of, they're there. And that's about it. So really, those two platforms on the left, they're kind of pointless. They're more of a hassle to get to, if anything. So this one, what's a worthy ranking of this one? Probably a 3. Probably I'm giving it a 3 because it's a little bit longer than, like, say, this platform that I'm currently standing on. But this platform is very bad. I don't like this platform. I think this one is worthy of a 1.5. It's just there. Like, I don't think I have ever actually stood on this platform. Ever. It's a hassle. However, the other platforms, maybe except for this one, they're all a lot better. Like, a lot better. This is kind of like the center platform. Most of the time, people will either stand on that one or on this platform. These two are arguably the best platforms in this room because you have the most space to move around, unlike all the other ones. So really, I think the platform that I'm currently standing on, this one is probably like a 7. And same thing for this one. Actually, this one's probably a 7.5 because you have more options. You can see more options, right? If I put this in the middle, you can see a lot of options. As opposed to this one, you can only really see 3 different platforms, but you're probably going to be using this one or this one. This platform is pretty good. I'm going to give it a 6 because the only reason you would go up here is either to escape from the squids, or to leave this area because, you know, the door opens and you leave. That's really about it. But these ones, they're okay. They're okay. This one probably gets a 6 as well. It's kind of like your safe place. If you fall, there's a good chance you'll land on this one or this one and save yourself from the spikes. But this one, maybe I'll give like a probably like a 5.5. Realistically speaking, most people aren't going to be using this platform specifically. And the reason why is because you're too close to the spikes. It's kind of dangerous to be there. So most people will probably opt for this one. So I'm going to give this one a 6. But the reason why I want to give this one a little bit higher as well is because when you're exiting, you got Howling Race. Good job. And you're leaving. You're probably going to choose one of these two platforms anyways. You're probably going to choose the higher one because, you know, you don't want to land in the spikes. This one's probably just a better option. But that's just my opinion. If you think these are, you know, better or worse than what I rated them, that's okay. I'm just saying this in light of, you know, as a speedrunner, challenge runner, and just kind of a casual Hollow Knight perspective. Although, to be fair, it has been, what, like 5 years since I played this casually? But anyways, that's this area, the Overgrown Mound. there is one last area in this, I guess, entirety of this place. I'm gonna merge all of them together, but I'm gonna go ahead and import all of their pictures. There we go. Alright, probably the most important area of this entire area, the teacher's archives. I'll make them a lot bigger, actually, though, just so we can see them better. But it is a very, very large area, so I had to split them up into different screenshots. But they're... Yeah, let me space them out a little bit more. Yeah, I had to space them out because, you know, it's a big area. I didn't want to accidentally do something that I should not have, or do something in a bad form. Let's do this. Should go on top. Like right about there. Okay, yeah, this is gonna be very jank. Just... Oh, shoot. It's already too jank. Gosh dang it. Okay. Just trust me when I say this. They merge. Just trust me on that. But yeah. Okay, we'll take a look at these ones. This is the teacher's archives. This is the only part where there are platforms. Below this area, oops. Below this area is where the Dreamer is located, but we're only interested in the platforms. There are no floating platforms beneath this area. So, obviously, the teacher's archives is, you know, where you find Monomon, and you fight Umu. And it's located right here. It's kind of as a zoom out, just so you can see where it is. It's right there. And in this area, oh boy, if you don't have Isthmus here, this place might be very, very difficult. So I'm hoping you do. But this place also has some really good platforms as well. In this area, everything is cool. Things look actually pretty, honestly. And this platform here, just because of the design. Actually, no, not even because of the design, because functionally, it could look like anything. It could be a black square. This is still a 5. The sole reason of that one being there is because most people probably don't have double jump in this area. So you just jump over here, and then go up here, so that you can go to this bench. That's really about it. And this one, same thing. Actually, this is probably going to be less. Let's be real. You could have moved the bench onto this one. Let's be real. The bench could have been on this platform, but they decided not to. I'm not sure why. But since the bench is on this one, this is a good 8. This is a good one. Also because this is the only bench of its kind. I know it looks very, bitty, it looks very gritty, but that's just because of the resolution. If you were to actually look at this bench in its entirety, this is based on Monomon, and a little bit of inspiration from Quirrell. This is the only bench with its design. And so that makes this, it's special. That's why I want to give this one an 8. Doesn't really serve much other purpose, but I think it's really good. The moment you head down into this area, you are greeted into this area. Again, it's very, very gritty, but bear with me, honestly. This one probably got like a 6.5. Oh gosh, it's very large now. I'm gonna give it a 6.5 because immediately you're greeted to 2 tiny jellyfish. And at that point, it's like, alright, what's my plan of attack? Because most likely you're gonna be entering this area very frequently. Because, there's a boss. These 2 platforms, they're okay. I'm gonna say this one gets a 5.5. This one probably gets a 5 because there's a charged Lumafly right on top of it as well, which makes it a little bit more difficult. This room, or I guess this area, they're okay. I guess. No, they're okay. This should prepare you for the boss fight ahead. So I guess in that light, none of them are terrible, but none of them are great either. Maybe this one gets a 5. This one probably gets a 5.5 because of its difficult location, even though it's simple. This one probably gets a 5. It's getting to the point where it's very difficult to rank some of these now. This one. This platform specifically. Not a great platform. Not only are there two very explosive creatures right next to it, there's also a charged Lumafly on top of it. I actually don't think anyone has ever used this platform. The only reason why you'd use it is to get over here, or some lore that you kind of can't even read. It's not a good platform. In my understanding, in my history knowledge, I have never used this platform, basically. I, never use it. So I think this one, probably, it's a 1.5 at best. Honestly. Its sole purpose is that you can try to read this lore, even though you technically can't, because it's garbled. It's not good. This platform is good, though. This is actually a pretty decent platform. I'm going to give it a 6.5. The only reason why I'm not giving it a 7 is because of the charged Lumafly right here. Although you can stand, right here where the 6 is, to kind of avoid it. But the whole purpose of why this platform is here is so that you can go here, and then you either crystal dash across, or if you have Isthmus here, you just hop in and move along. But it's not bad, it's not great either. I know in previous patches, the charged Lumaflies will actually wait for you to get close to them before, electrifying the surrounding. But on current patch, they just kind of have a regular, buzz. Buzz. No, regardless of whether you're close or not. But in lower patches, they will wait for you to get close until they buzz. And so because of that, it can be annoying and very difficult. So there's that platform. I don't think there's a platform over here. Yeah, there's not one there. But then comes the hard part. The boss arena. This arena is the arena for Umu. Arguably the funniest name for a boss. But this place is actually kind of annoying. This place forces you to be good at platforming. Otherwise, if you don't have Isthmus here, you will be falling into the acid a lot, or simply falling on top of Umu a lot. So I'm gonna keep it real with you. This middle platform, the biggest platform, this is your safe haven. This is an 8.5. It's a good platform. This is always your reliable. I feel like whenever you're dodging attacks, you will always make some kind of circle, perhaps. But you'll always end up back there. You will always end up back at this location. Arguably, this one right above it is also really good. This one probably gets a 7.5. It's also a very good centralized platform. You'll probably always be using this one at some point in time. In this fight, I suppose. This platform, however, even though it is centered, it's not as good. It's good, but it's not as good. If anything, the moment you drop in here, and you look around, and you look down, perhaps, and you realize this is a very big open area with literally nothing but a bunch of platforms. This is your omen. This is telling you, oh no, something's up, and I'm not ready for it. Now, obviously, if you're a speedrunner, this platform really doesn't mean anything. If anything, it's like these three platformers, or these three platforms as a speedrunner, that are the best platforms. But especially for most people, these two platforms are the best, and this one's just kind of okay. So this one, I'm gonna give it a 6. That's a little low. I'm gonna give it a 6.5. However, all the other ones, their sole purpose is for you to maneuver around Umu and... Does Umu have a gender? I actually don't know. Umu. Umu. Gender. Unknown. Okay. We're calling it an it. Because we don't know. To maneuver around Umu and its attacks, all of these platforms, or I guess the other platforms, they serve the exact same purpose. It's symmetrical. They're there. They're definitely not 5s because they're not your average platforms. So I'm going to give all of them a 6. What I have noticed, though, recently, because I have been doing my no movement challenge and I can only move via dashes, wall, jumps, and whatnot, these two platforms specifically are very good. And this might be helpful for especially, casual players But something I've noticed, there is no attack that is capable of hitting you if you camp these 2 spots on, like, of this room. Unless Umu does its, charged Lumafly attack that follows where you go. But if it just does normal attacks, it will never be able to hit here, like this area. So you can just kind of camp around this area and you'll never be hit. And obviously, because these 2 platforms right here, they are submerged, technically they're not floating platforms. But I will kind of give them an unofficial... They're good platforms. I'll give these ones a 7 out of 10. Asterisk. Because technically they're not floating platforms. So that's just my opinion on them. Take how you want to take it. If you think this should have been better, should have been lower, up to you, but this is how I see this area. And obviously below this area there are no more platforms. So really, this is everything. This is probably one of the shortest areas in the entire game, comparatively to all the other ones. I think... Actually, hold on. I should have counted all of the platforms. In Fog Canyon, comparatively, especially to all the other ones, there was only about, like, 100. That's pretty... Oh, not 100. 92. Less than 100. Almost every single area has more than 100. This is the only one that's less than that. So obviously this was a lot shorter. But, you know, it's still good. I like this place. It's not a place that you often, you know, visit. But it is an important place because it has a dreamer. So, yeah, honestly, there's a lot in this area, but there's also not a whole lot of platforms, which makes it easier for me, even if we're casual, it might be a little bit difficult. But yeah, that's the entirety of Fog Canyon. All the areas, all the floating platforms in Fog Canyon. If there's, you know, something you don't agree with, I'm sorry. This is just what I believe to be true. And if you want to argue for something, please do. Obviously, we didn't have that many great platforms. We had a couple of, like, 1.5s to 2s to 3s. But then again, it's not that much of an area. But yes, this is going to be going onto YouTube as the platform ranking continues. So, you know, if you like this, maybe like and subscribe. And comment which area you think I should do next. I still have a lot. And I'm dreading some of them. Oh my god, I'm... Like, Kingdom's Edge? Holy crap, I'm not ready for that. But this was all of the platforms. Yeah.